This is Ken Pyle. We're at the Media Innovation Summit 2011, and we're with Kathleen Gasperini of Label Networks. Kathleen, you just spoke about youth and culture and talked a little bit about, why don't you give us a brief overview of what you spoke about, and then I want to talk a little bit more about global aspects of it.
Sure. We spoke about some of the work and some of the data results that we had from our fall youth culture study, where we interviewed in face-to-face interviews around 4,000 young people between the ages of 13 to 25. And in this presentation, we concentrated on electronic media habits, entertainment patterns and habits and changes, cell phone usage patterns, social networking, and how it relates in terms of what is entertainment to the youth market today.
Well, and fortunately we have that recorded and we'll be seeing that online. So I want to touch upon something that we spoke of that we weren't able to talk in this panel, but globally. How are things different as you move around the globe with youth as compared to the U.S.?
We do a lot of research also. One of our most popular research studies is our China Youth Culture Study, which now we're moving into our fourth year of completing, as well as Japan and 5 countries in Western Europe. And when you start to see things globally, you really can see trends. You can see how things may bounce from New York to and get picked up in Japan, reinterpreted in Japan, and then come back to the United States and picked up in England, and then come back all the way over. For example, in fashion, that happens all the time. The Japanese are great at reinterpreting Americana to the point where they do Americana better than we do. And then we pick up some of those trends and we say it's Japanese when really actually it started in the United States. Our China Youth Culture Study is interesting because we're talking to a generation that is the result of the one-child rule. So there's a lot more boys between the ages of 13 to 25, and in the high schools as well, there's a lot more males than females. So it's really changed the societal structure of China. And we realized when we asked consumer opinions, surveys, when it came to China, we had to move the age group a little older to 15 to 30-year-olds versus 13 to 25, because their sense of having an opinion doesn't really form as strongly as it does in the United States at an earlier age, especially among males. The women, the girls, they tended to have more of an opinion, more of an idea of what they wanted, because they weren't necessarily, their lifestyle was much different in terms of it being less structured usually than boys. So they had more of a sense of confidence, but also a sense of imagination, which was interesting.
Interesting. So the long-term impact on society there, it sounds like it could really shift things.
Yeah, it's already shifting things. For example, you already see certain companies that are looking at hiring women managers, and in a society like that, it's pretty different, because usually that was not the case, and a lot of women do end up getting married and then they don't necessarily work. But there is that vacuum of leadership in a lot of regards, because when you have such a structured lifestyle with school, with competitiveness, with going on to university, and then getting into the workplace, and you basically go from your home to a job and like that without any sense of having to make up your own mind about opinions about certain things, it's become a challenge for management positions in particular in China.
Well, it sounds like it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in the politics as well as we go forward.
Yeah, definitely. There is a strong movement, though, that a lot of young entrepreneurial Chinese are capturing. For example, communities like Neocha, they're really taking a look at the street art and graffiti artists of China and showcasing those people, the creatives. Mm-hmm. There's a whole growing movement of punk rock and music in China, underground scenes, that is a way to communicate. It's what they've been using actually as a platform to get their feelings out, to get their emotions out, that kind of thing. So those types of things are happening, but they're still definitely more like an underground type of movement. Things like texting and using the internet, especially video gaming, is a great way that they communicate with other people. World of Warcraft, for example, in terms of masking what they're really trying to say and saying it in a certain kind of jargon that might be even through gaming.
Interesting. So it's kind of, I guess, some of the comments we heard today about the, masking yourself with the Facebook, it's instead of actually meeting one-on-one.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And, you think about it, like I said in my presentation, the Chinese youth market of 13 to 25-year-olds is around 300 million people, which is just a little less than the entire United States population. So you really have to think about that demographic because it's enormous and it's the biggest in the world in terms of that particular age group. And they're very savvy, net savvy, very technologically savvy in terms of the socioeconomic middle to upper class, basically. Yeah.
So it'll be a driver probably not only in their country, but in this country in years to come.
Yeah, and there's a growing sense, too, of, especially in fashion and design, of made in China, where it used to be considered in America sometimes, it's made in China, it maybe not be of the best quality, but in China they're kind of bringing it back because you've got some more craftsmanship going on where it's like they're proud to be like, yeah, I made it in China. And that's kind of happening in the streetwear industry, denim industry, those types of sports lifestyle industries as well. So.
Well, it'll be interesting if we see some examples like Lisa told of the Japanese school kids and the American school kids getting together and teaching themselves. It'll be interesting to see how that cross-pollinates.
Oh yeah, I think that was an excellent idea, and I think you're seeing more of that. I think one of the ways right now that young people in North America are interacting with young people in China too tends to be through MMORPG games.
The games.
Yeah. So, and that's already happening. Yeah.
Great. Well, Kathleen, we really appreciate you being here at the conference and appreciate your time right now. I look forward to future conversations.
Thanks so much for inviting us. We appreciate it.